Warning: this podcast may contain spoilers from whatever TV show or movie is mentioned. Please listen at your own discretion. Welcome to Viewers Anonymous.
Yo, what's going on? I am Scoots Bronson.
And I am S. Foster.
That's right. And this is the Viewers Anonymous podcast. What's going on with you, brother?
Can't call it, man. Pulling one of your moves with the slow motion, but I mean, it's just trying to but some things can't be rushed. You know what I mean? So
for sure.
So just out here chilling, putting in work. Well, how you feeling, man? Everything good with you?
Man, everything is great. I have no complaints, my brother. You know what I'm saying? Just trying to make this thing work out here, putting this content together, small stuff like that. But everything going good, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm excited about some stuff that's coming up soon. And you know what I'm saying? If you know, you know, man. Stay tuned.
If you know, you know, from King Push, man.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I'm saying? You heard the new album yet?
Yes, I have. It's fire.
Yeah, I fuck with it, man.
Yeah, that's fire.
Yeah, push your T, man. Like, I mean, now, my personal taste, I still, for me, it wasn't anything on the album that was better than you know, if you know, you know, and like the games we play, like those, like off that Daytona, like those two tracks, like just stood out. Like
for sure.
Like it was some good stuff on there, but like to me personally, it wasn't nothing as good as those two songs from that Daytona album. But it was a good album though. Like I wasn't mad at it. But that's just how a phrase can take you on a whole nother path. See, that's what I'm saying. People don't understand about this podcast and shit. Like all you said is if you know, you know, and I took it to the damn Pusha T album.
That's the beauty of it, man. That is the beauty of it, man. So bruh. Man, I know this ain't the sports pod, man, but what's up with the Nets, man?
Yo. Yeah, I thought you was about to say something about our damn subject matter today. Yo, listen.
Nah, man.
I'm not.
Because, I mean, this, you know what I'm saying? This ain't the sports pod, but, you know what I'm saying? What we on is definitely involved in sports, but.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Them niggas playing like Coach Carter last night, man.
Yo, listen. I'm not completely. It's not a situation where I'm shocked, but for this to be the only team to get swept in the first round this year, it shows you how much just this team was projected to be in the finals. Them and the Lakers, right? Lakers don't make the playoffs. And these dudes have to do a play-in game, and then they get in.
I had them in the Suns. I thought once that play-in game was over with, they were gonna come in and take off. And
that did not happen. And I think that what that shows is there is absolutely no team chemistry there. Even when James Harden was there, they only played 15 games together. And then also all year, Kyrie, before they changed the rule, he wasn't playing on a nightly basis, when there were games. So they put this thing together, and it was just the Celtics were hot. They was on the streak, man. And the Celtics also didn't duck the smoke because the Heat and the Bucks, they basically lost games on purpose. They threw games so they wouldn't play the Nets. The Celtics like, nah, fuck that shit. We want the smoke. And then they go in there and they sweep these dudes. And they, like I said, they was like one of the hottest teams in the NBA, and they played like it. And I'm not gonna sit here like I know some people are in the moment right now. I'm not gonna say that Jason Tatum took the throne from Kevin Durant, but he definitely took some fucking steps towards it though. You know what I'm saying, with the series that he put up. So
Yeah.
I mean, as far as the Nets though, man, that whole tobacco, man, and then everybody is jumping on Stephen A. Smith now because of what he said about Ben Simmons. And it's just like, yo, man.
I mean, to me, that Ben Simmons shit wouldn't have made no fucking difference, bro. I'm really getting sick of them trying to act like he'd have been that much of a difference maker.
My thing about Ben Simmons, it's not about him playing game 4.
Mm-hmm.
It's the fact that he hasn't played since last June.
And he's still getting paid.
You know what I'm saying? 44 million or some shit like that.
Genius.
Man, well, it depends. Because the way they're making it seem like he got mental issues. So if he really got mental issues, the thing about it, like these players, some of them try to act like, yo, we don't hear the noise.
Hey man, dude don't got no mental issues at all. The only issues he got is where to deposit all that money. Being honest with you, bro. Listen, if you ask me, that's the perfect cop out because he ain't injured. And then you got to think about it. They didn't want you in Philly. You really didn't even want to play. You could still get your money without playing. Then you go to Brooklyn. You know the heat gonna be on you in Brooklyn because you know how New York is. So you went from a team that be on your head to another team that'd be on your head. So he did the right thing. Plus, you don't want to come in and you got the nonsense with Kyrie going on, and you build a chemistry with Kevin Durant, and then whether or not Kyrie play is hanging in the balance. You don't want to deal with that. You might as well go ahead and wave it off till next year. You know what I'm saying? Next year you come in fresh and do your thing.
This was a dysfunctional organization, a dysfunctional team all year. So I felt like that's really the storybook ending to just the type of year that they had this year.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why, like, I'm not shocked really of the fact that them going out the way that they went out, because you're going against a team who has a chemistry, who has been together, like their core players have been together for at least about 4 years?
Yeah.
Like Smart, Tatum, and Brown, they've been together for about 3-4 years.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And even Al Horford have been there for about 2-3 years. So the core guys has been together. In your core, you got rid of one of your guys.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what I'm saying? And then y'all two supposed to have a chemistry, but Kyrie couldn't play every game because he chose not to get vaccinated. So you got that whole thing. So it's just like, that's what you would expect to see. And that's another reason why I did not understand why the Lakers didn't run it back for another year. It's like, yo, you're going to sit here and you're going to throw the whole team away that you just won a championship with.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? To bring in Westbrook, where y'all have no chemistry, and then that whole thing just goes into the toilet. Mm-hmm. When you could have just kept the team that you had together and just tried to run it back for a year. That's what the Bucks are doing, except they added Grayson Allen. But other than that, the core players that the Bucks got, they've been together for about 2 years. So
yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so I don't know, man. I just think that, but with KD being KD though, he already done started. You know what I'm saying? He put Instagram stories up with Charles Barkley. You know what I'm saying? Like
he out of there, man. I don't want to hear anybody else say anything about KD being better than LeBron ever. That ship is out of here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and now it's starting to look like, because I'm a huge advocate of the Dan Levitard show, and Stu he got this whole little thing where he talk about his personal record book, right? Mm-hmm. And in his personal record book, KD ain't got no rings, right? He said he went and joined the Warriors when they was the best. They had the best record in the league because he joined the year after they what
Yeah.
73-9.
The year they
So he
lost.
was
The year they lost.
yeah. So he's like KD won 2 rings with two of the best shooters in the world. So he was like, those 2 rings don't count to me. So
And one of the best defenders.
exactly. So now you looking at it like now you have a team. Like every time you had a team where you were the man when you was at OKC, y'all didn't win.
Right.
Then you had a 3-1 lead to the Warriors that year before you
went
left.
to the Warriors.
And then went to the Warriors. And now, okay, yeah, you got injured, but you got injured with the Warriors, but then you go to the Brooklyn and then you bring a guy like Kyrie in and you still don't win. Now, everybody knows
And
I'm
you
not
brought
the
James
ring.
Harden in.
Yeah, and I'm not the ring guy. I'm just saying what I'm saying is he's not putting up winning resumes since he has not been with the Warriors. Well, at least let's say gone deep in the playoffs since he's been with the Warriors.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that whole discussion, I bring it up because of what you just said about him being better than LeBron and all this type stuff. And it just made me think of Stugatz because, like, you know, he would, you know, say some shit like, this justifies, like, what I've been saying. Like, maybe KD isn't that guy that people think he is. Now, he can score out the world. You know what I'm saying?
He's a great scorer.
But
horrible defender, though.
Man, Jason put the clamps on him, but
Nah, that one play, I think it was like game 2, the last little second shot of game 2, and he was just like concrete boots right at the top of the key, and Jason Tatum just blew past him real quick and got the layup for the win. Shit, man.
Yeah, it's the thing. But I will say this though before we move, it's like, I mean, now I haven't really heard any of the sports podcasts yet or any of the shows, but I just felt like if there's a day now, granted, LeBron didn't make the playoffs this year.
Mm-hmm.
It's a whole bunch of factors that goes into that. But at this point in his career, if he was to get swept in the playoffs, now he got swept by the Spurs in 2006 or whatever, but that everybody know that Cavs team was, you know what I'm saying? Like you look at the counterparts that he took to the finals. That team had no business being in the finals.
That's true.
But if he was to get swept and within like the last 3 to 4 years, come on, man, they would be killing this dude. Like literally, they would be like, I can't imagine some of the things that would have came out of people's mouth if LeBron would have got swept in the playoffs at the stature of the career that he is right now. Like I said, it happened at one time, but I think a lot of people, like real basketball people, like look at that 2006 Cavs roster and was like, yo, that team had no business being.
Bro, it was against the Spurs, bro.
When they was like in their run, like,
but I'm
prime
saying, like,
Ginobili,
it was
prime Tim Duncan.
Like that was probably one of the greatest finals teams to ever touch a court, bro. Like everybody was like literally balling out. I think, matter of fact, was that a back-to-back?
I'm trying to no, because I remember somebody talking about how even though Tim Duncan got those 5 rings, none of them was back-to-back.
Oh, that's okay. That's right.
They was always every other year. They was every other year. So,
but I mean, he had Ginobili. He had
Tony Parker.
Bruce
Bowen was on that team.
Yeah, Bruce Bowen was on the team. Stack 5 was on the team.
Yep. Who else was on that team?
Dang, who else was on that team? Big man. Tiago Splitter. For what it was worth.
Tiago Splitter was with them.
No, that's when he was in Miami.
Yeah, that's when he was with Miami.
Not Tiago Splitter. What's old boy name? It was a European dude though. They had another European big when they won that championship in 2007.
They did. I can't remember what his name was. And I was trying to remember who was the other trying to think, was it the team that had Michael Finley on it? I can't remember if Michael Finley was on that team. I remember he
think
played with the
Philly was in
Spurs, but I
Dallas.
can't remember. But he had like a year or two with the Spurs, but I can't
You know what I'm
remember.
saying? I think at that time Philly was in Dallas.
Oh, okay. But yeah, that team was nice, man.
Mm-hmm.
Those were good ass teams. And
Yeah,
LeBron went in there with El Gaskis. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Like Mo
And
Williams
Derek,
as his
no,
running mate.
and
Larry Hughes.
yeah, and I was nah, Tyrone Hill wasn't on that team. What's the dude's name? 44 Drew.
Oh, Drew Gooden.
Yeah, Drew Gooden, bro. He had Drew Gooden on that team, bro. He had Ricky Davis on that team.
Yo.
Boobie Gibson, a young Boobie Gibson.
Yeah, that team was so bad. But
Yeah,
LeBron was so good though, man, at
I'm
that
trying to
time.
think who was the other center. It was Ilgauskas and wasn't it Verza?
Yep, Anderson Varejao. Yep.
It was a young Anderson Verza too.
Yep.
Yeah, that's when Verza first got there. Somebody else though.
Dude, I think Tyrone Hill was on that team.
That's
Like,
what I'm trying to think. I want to say Tyrone Hill
like
was on that team, bro. I really do.
Tyrone Hill has been on two of the worst teams to make it to the finals. He was on that
I'm
76ers team.
for some I know, bro. For some odd reason, I'm telling you, man. Tyrone Hill was on that team, bro. I feel like he was. I know Drew Gooden was on there for a fact.
Yeah, I remember Drew Gooden was on that. It was bad. It was bad. So yeah, I don't think a lot of people really give LeBron flack for getting swept that year,
Mm-hmm.
but for a team with Durant and Kyrie on it, and then a shooter like Seth Curry and
Mm-hmm.
but I know he hasn't been the guy, but but just to say the name Blake Griffin, you know what I'm
Oh yeah,
saying?
Blake is the man still
LaMarcus
though. He still got
Aldridge,
some game on him. Yeah.
uh
Now LaMarcus Aldridge
Drummond.
surprises the shit out of me.
So it's just like, yo, I mean, that's a good question. I mean, it's a
Yeah.
talking point, but yeah,
Man,
it's
listen, staying on sports, man. The NFL draft is coming up. You know what I'm saying? And this Thursday, you know what I'm saying? There's gonna be some players coming out of there that take the world by storm. And you know what I'm saying, there's gonna be some players that's gonna be a bust. But you know what I'm saying, speaking of the draft, there was one player who, you know what I'm saying, took the world by storm in a totally, completely different way. His name is Aaron Hernandez from the University of Florida. The man played tight end, drafted in the fourth round?
yep, fourth round.
Yeah, I think he was the number 42 pick. Is that what they said? No, he wasn't the 42 pick. He was the 14th pick in the fourth round. I think that's what they said. But yeah, my man who you know what I'm saying, showed the world that, you can do it all. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing you can't do. You know what I'm saying? You can do it if you put your mind to it. Do you hear me? This nigga is now. I know that we've had guys like Ray Carew and we had Ray Lewis, Michael Vick, and a bunch of other different players who
Darren Sharper, but that
Darren
was after.
Sharper, Ben Roethlisberger. You know what I'm saying? We had a bunch of players. Ray Rice. Apparently, if your name is Ray, you got to be careful in the league. You just go by Raymond. But you know what I'm saying? Like, it's been a lot of guys that have gotten in trouble. What was the the kicker that played for the Giants? He was beating the shit out of his wife.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm
Oh
saying?
the punter. Yeah.
The punter. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's been a whole bunch of just a whole bunch of nonsense, man. But this dude takes the cake. Aaron Hernandez, man. My man caught two bodies. I'm sorry, three bodies. And not only caught three bodies, finished the season and won a Super Bowl in the time span of all that happening. Now, performance rate is sky high. You know what I'm saying? First and foremost, before I continue, I do want to say though, rest in peace to the families of the lost, and rest in peace to those who have lost their lives. Especially Odin Lloyd. He was one of the main ones that he was the main one who actually got Aaron Hernandez convicted. But for dude to catch 3 bodies and then to go to practice like nothing happened is crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It is, but I want to start because you had started down this path, and like with me being a Florida State fan, I know about Aaron Hernandez. That motherfucker was like everybody up in college football. You hear me? Like, you want to talk about a time where, because see, I wasn't the first. Now, that first Miami run, yes. Well, in the early 2001, like that
Yeah,
area.
I remember that.
Like, yeah, like, you know what I'm saying? I was upset, but it was kind of like, yo, like that roster, man, like these dudes are just, you know what I'm saying?
Hall of Famers.
It was just like
Hall of Famers.
But that, because Florida State rivals of Miami and Florida. So then when Florida started coming around 2007, 2008, what pissed me off about those teams was just the fact of like just the hype that Tebow had. Because I'm like, yo, this dude is.
It was well deserved though.
I don't think so.
That team,
team.
But that's what I'm saying. He led that team though.
Man,
that's why when people say he's one of the greatest college football quarterbacks of all time, I will definitely give him credit. And I'll tell you why. Because he had Percy Harvin. And then he had, what was the running back's name? Damn, what was the running back's name? Chris
Damn, who was the running back?
Chris something. Hold on. But he had Percy Harvin, and then he had Aaron Hernandez. And
well, I know one of the receivers he had because you remember I told you my college roommate, my first college roommate, he played professional rugby. His brother, Dallas Baker, was on that national championship team. He was one of the receivers. So he was on that squad. Who else was on that squad? Like they had.
So you had Percy Harvin at receiver, right? You had Andre Caldwell at receiver. You had Cornelius Ingram at tight end. You had Carlos Dunlap at D end. You had Chris Rainey at running back. That's who it was, Chris Rainey. You had Joe Hayden on that team. Cam Newton was on that team. Tim Tebow was on that team. Emmanuel Moody was on that team. Major Wright was on that team. Brandon James was on that team. They had a hell of a fucking team.
And coached by Urban Meyer.
Coached by Urban. Oh, Ahmad Black was on that team. Moses Jenkins was on that team. I remember Lorenzo Campbell, Brandon Hicks, Kyle Pratt. I'm trying to see if it's any more names. Brandon Spikes. Damn, I forgot about Brandon Spikes.
Brandon Spikes. Yep.
Mike Pouncey. Marquise Pouncey.
Both Pouncey brothers, twins.
Give us a minute, people, because we wanna run this. Of course, we said Aaron Hernandez. That's who this is about. But we want to run y'all just through. Oh, Riley Cooper. You know what I'm saying? We just want to run y'all through so you guys can see. Derek Harvey was on this team. And that's really it. But that's a lot of names.
Yeah, man, it definitely is, man. And I remember, man, like Like it wasn't nothing that we could do with them, and I just remember like how versatile and Hernandez was. Boy, that tight end they got. Boy, I was like, man, that dude, that like we just couldn't stop him. Really couldn't nobody really fuck with him. Like he was like one of those hybrid tight ends where it really started to like change, where you started putting them out at receiver and all of that type shit. So that was like in the beginning of when that stuff really started to happen, you know. But I mean, really, it started with. I mean, if you want to be technical, it started with Shannon Sharp. But like, as far as like using these dudes, like, cause I mean, they was giving him reverses, all types of shit. He's a tight end, so as a football player, man. But then, like, when he got to the NFL and the Patriots drafted Rob Gronkowski in the third round and drafted him in the fourth round. And they was like one of those teams that really started doing that two tight end set where they had two tight ends. You had one who's just bigger than every damn body. You can just throw it up to him. That was one of my things about Rob Gronkowski. Like people saying, is he a Hall of Fame tight end? Yeah. But people saying he's the greatest tight end for the game, fuck that shit. You crazy. I would never say he's the greatest tight end for the game.
I wouldn't put him over Tony Gonzalez.
I wouldn't put him over Tony. I wouldn't put him over Shannon Sharp. I wouldn't put him over
Shannon Sharp. I wouldn't put him over Jason Witten.
I wouldn't put him over what's my man's name? I wouldn't put him over John Mackey. He's the one who really started the shit back with the Colts back in the day. But
what about Dallas Clark? They used to put Peyton.
I wouldn't put him over Dallas Clark. I love Dallas Clark.
Dallas Clark, man.
Antonio Gates.
Oh yeah, definitely not Antonio Gates.
What's my dude name? Shit. Nah, I ain't gonna do that. I was about to say I was gonna be a hater. You wanna know who I was gonna say?
Who?
Algie Crumpler.
Oh hell no. Algie Crumpler was lucky to have Michael Vick.
But nah, he
to have work done.
Yeah. But nah, but those two tight ends again, you got one that's big as hell that nobody can cover. He's a mismatch all over the field. And then your other tight end, probably at the time, might have been the fastest tight end in the game. That's versatile. You could put him out wide, all that type shit. So what New England had, man, and was something that was very unique. And I didn't know that. Two things. I didn't know that he went to Florida. Well, Urban Meyer talked him into
that motherfucker beat Ohio State.
Yeah, he talked him into coming early. So when he went on campus, he was 17.
Yeah.
And then when he got drafted, he was 20. He was the youngest player in the NFL. So that was two things that I did not know until I had watched this, because I just didn't keep up with Aaron. I was about to say Aaron Rodgers, Aaron Hernandez like that. Like I didn't keep up with him like that. But I thought that it was very unique for somebody to be from Bristol, Connecticut, and then he ends up going to the New England Patriots. You know what I'm saying? But before we get really deep into Aaron Hernandez, and before we get to the wild shit, so they spoke a lot about him and his father's relationship and his brother DJ. His father played football, ended up going to UConn, played football at UConn. So he obviously got it in his genes to play Division I football. Then his older brother, he played quarterback, DJ Hernandez. He was at UConn while he was in high school. So the way everything looked, it looked like, well, he had committed because he had went when he was 14 to a UConn camp, and they offered him a scholarship. So he was on his way to UConn. And so they get to talking about his father, talk about how his father was a drunk, he was a homophobic, and how he used to beat on his mom and all this type of shit like that. Goes in for hernia surgery, passes away during that. And so a lot of people say that this was the turning point of her Aaron Hernandez for two simple reasons. His father was a disciplinarian, so he used to really get on Aaron. He was the one that people said that kept Aaron on the right track, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other thing that happens, if y'all never seen this or heard of this story, I'm about to go ahead and throw y'all for a loop. Mom Dukes, just a few months later, okay, listen to me clearly, people. His mom's starts dating this dude. Not only she started dating this dude, got this dude in the house, sleeping in Aaron Hernandez's dad bed, all that type shit, right? But the dude ended up being her niece's husband.
Yeah.
So Aaron Hernandez's cousin, his favorite cousin husband, is now sleeping with his mom's. So the way he counters that is he starts spending time over his cousin Tanya Singleton's house because he's pissed off for what his mom's is doing by fucking her husband, and then she has cancer. So that whole dynamic with his mom's, where he's just like, yo, fuck that. But when he starts going over his cousin's house, he has more freedom. He starts smoking weed, starts hanging out with these dudes who were like drug dealers and all types of shit like that. So a lot of people say that this is where Aaron's life really started taking that turn because he started being around people that he wouldn't normally be around. And then that structure that he had, when you got this dad that's pretty much kind of like a drill sergeant, you know what I'm saying? Kind of like disciplining you in like military type of ways. And then that shit just goes away when you're a junior in high school. You know what I'm saying? I think that plays a factor in the way that he started behaving, because you gotta think about it. Because he goes to his cousin's house, like it's his cousin, yo. Like she wasn't that much older than him, so like she's not parenting him. You know what I'm saying?
Well, not only that, man. You also got to remember, like, it's not just the fact that she went to go live with her cousin. I mean, he went to go live with his cousin. It's also, you know what I'm saying, the one thing that they constantly talked about was, you know what I'm saying, him losing his father. And in the situation of him losing his father, like, they never talked about how he properly grieved. They never even talked about how his mom properly grieved. And that was her husband. You know what I'm saying? Like, so the fact that he was gone, and then, like, what did they say? Like, less than 3 months later, she's like with the niece's husband.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like, nobody was able to properly grieve in that situation. And then, you know what I'm saying, with the type of man that his father, with the type of man that they were talking about his father was, you know, that's a huge, you know what I'm saying, letdown, because, like, dude is in the midst of, I think he was in high school when it happened.
Yeah,
and
his
then
brother was at UConn at the time.
Yeah, he's in high school, about to leave high school, and then he's going off to college. And then once that happened, you know, it was this thing to where he was supposed to go to UConn with his brother, didn't end up going to UConn, changed his mind and went to Florida. So now he's in a whole nother situation, in a whole nother place. He doesn't have that guidance anymore that he used to have. Especially, you know, with somebody like his dad who actually cared about him and got him to the point to where he is now. And then now you have, you know what I'm saying, his mom who is, you know what I'm saying, dealing with it in her own way. His brother is dealing with it in his own way. He's dealing with it in his own way. And so, you know, the only person that's really left to even show him any type of comfort and any type of love is, of course, his cousin, because she's not as attached. Of course, you know, that's her family still, by proxy, but it's not the same as, you know what I'm saying, like, as it being somebody that you directly connected with. And so, you know, his cousin was sort of his getaway. You know what I'm saying, being around his cousin was sort of like being around somebody who genuinely cared about you for you, and not just, you know what I'm saying, everything that was going on. You know, it wasn't like she was just there because his dad passed. It was there because, like, they literally had that type of relationship, and that's what he needed at the time. Even though it wasn't exactly what he needed, but he still needed somebody to be there for him.
But then at the same time, she's going through something as well.
Right.
You sitting here dealing with cancer, and your husband left you for your aunt. You know what I mean? So she's also have some factors of some things that's going on with her as well.
Yeah.
So also in the same timeline, Aaron has a friend that he started, like they grew up together, they played pee-wee football together, and he was the quarterback.
Now this dude is cap, and this is where I have to disagree with a lot in this doc because of him. But go ahead.
Yeah, Daniel. So Daniel is talking about how, how tight they was and all this type of shit. But basically, long story short, Daniel said that they had a sexual relationship. He said that they both were bisexual, and he was like, Aaron, he would hide it because of how homophobic his father was. But Daniel said his father was homophobic too. But his father was actually in this documentary saying like, yeah, I made some mistakes. I was wrong, and I had to accept the fact that that my son is bisexual, all this type of shit. But they were just talking about how Aaron's dad was like really say a lot of like, wild shit about gay people. So Daniel's on there talking about how they experience with each other and all this type of shit like that. So I bring that up because there's going to be some shit about, about him being bisexual later on in the podcast. But you said you feel Daniel is cap.
Yes, I think Daniel is cap. First and foremost, Daniel may be gay or may be bisexual or whatever he chose to identify as in his documentary. That's not where my beef lies. My beef lies on the fact that he is basically talking about him and Aaron's relationship, whether it be a friendship or whether it actually be a relationship, right? My only thing was just like, it was weird because there was no other parts in his life where this showed, except for whenever Daniel talked about it. Nobody else spoke about this.
Well, I said I was gonna break it up later, but I mean, it ain't no reason to hold it off now. But supposedly, the reason he killed Odom Lloyd was because Odom saw him with another guy in that type of way, and was.
Go ahead.
But I'm just saying, like that, they saying that that's what they believed the Odom was because Odom had saw him. I can't remember if that was at a strip club or a regular club or whatever. Supposedly he was, rubbing on, not rubbing, but like, was pretty close to another guy or whatever. And I don't know if Odin asked him about it or was just, or he thought that he saw him or whatever, but to the point where he felt he had to do that.
Right. This is the thing. We talking about pro football player Aaron Hernandez, right? Why would pro football player Aaron Hernandez be in a random club with his friends and a whole bunch of other people if doing this, dancing and feeling on another dude, if this is something he didn't want to get out?
I mean, it's true.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's the thing that I thought about. I was like, man, none of this makes sense because it's like, and then the way that Daniel was talking about it, like he was just talking about it so freely, like, yeah, it's just like, we go hang out and we, we go be kicking it with our, and waiting for some girls to come through. And then like, we just get the feeling on each other. And I'm like, hold on, what? Like none of that made sense to me. Like where did, like you waiting on girls to come through, but before they get there, y'all gonna finish each other off? I'm confused.
Well, it comes up a third time, and like they made a point to. Well, number one, they made a point to have a gay NFL player on there
for sure.
Actually played for the Patriots at the time,
for sure.
But the third time was when he was locked up. They said that he had a relationship with a guy.
Yeah,
that he was in jail.
That's why he killed himself.
Well, there was a couple of factors that goes along with that, but we'll get there when we get there. But we would just, so I guess we could basically get like, basically this gay shit out the way. But like So Aaron, so this is the wildest thing about this whole thing is what you had brought up earlier. So to give y'all the rundown, and this was, let me see, let me get my shit together. So July the 16th, 2012, Aaron Hernandez is in a strip club, and supposedly two dudes spilled a drink on him.
Mm-hmm.
He's with Aaron is with his friend. What's your boy name?
The Andrew dude.
No. Alexander Bradley. He with
Yeah,
Alexander Bradley.
That's Andrew. I'm sorry, Alexander.
And so he's with Alexander Bradley. And supposedly the way Alexander put it was like, yo, he's enraged because the dude spilled a drink on him. They saw him leaving the club, so they get into a silver 4Runner. Follow those dudes. Dudes get stopped at a light. I'm sorry, Daniel and Sofry. I can't pronounce what his name was because both of them are immigrants from another country.
From Cape Verde.
So basically, they roll up on the car. Aaron wasn't driving. Alexander was driving. Aaron reaches over, you know what I'm saying, pump 5 shots into them, and then they spill off. And then Aaron ended up parking that 4Runner in his cousin's garage. Tanya Singleton, right? So this was an unsolved murder in Boston, right? In 2012. You look at the timeline. Aaron plays a whole season of football. One of his best seasons in the NFL, and wins a Super Bowl.
No, they didn't win the Super Bowl. They lost.
They didn't win that year?
No,
so that's the year that they lost.
He never won a Super Bowl.
He did win a Super Bowl.
No, he didn't.
Yes, he did. Okay. Aaron won one, dude.
No, he didn't.
Yes, he did. They said he did.
The Super Bowl they went to he said he scored a touchdown in the Super Bowl when they played against the Giants. He never won a Super Bowl.
Oh, okay.
He played in the Super Bowl.
So he played the whole season, knowing he done shot 2 dudes. But this is the crazy part.
I don't think he did that. Now the Odin Lloyd thing, I don't know. But the 2 dudes, I think that was that dude, the Alexander dude.
Okay. But this is the wild part, though. Now, it could be a coincidence. Aaron gets a tattoo, right? At the top, he has Lord, it was like Lord forgive me or something like that. But he has it backwards.
Right.
But then he has, because he shot the dudes with a 38 revolver. So, they got 6 shots in it.
He shot the dudes with a 38.
Allegedly, he shot them with, and another reason we got to say allegedly, because when he went on trial for that, y'all, he got found not guilty.
Right.
But Alexander Bradley said when he was testifying that Aaron shot 5 shots. But he said it kept clicking. Okay. Aaron gets a tattoo that says, like, Lord forgives me backwards. But then also has that revolver thing that has 6 shots, but it only got 5 bullets in it. It's like, if you did this, or even if you didn't do this, or if you was any involvement, why would you get a revolver tattoo of 5 shots with 1 shot missing? And Alexander's like, yeah, there was 5 shots, because I think they ended up finding 5 shots in the dudes. You know what I'm saying? Maybe 3 and 2
of them got shot when they found the gun. I mean,
they never found the
gun. They found the gun. They didn't find the gun for Odin Lloyd.
Oh, okay.
But they found the gun, and it had a casing missing. It had a bullet missing. And remember that supposedly, the Odin Lloyd is when they had the rental car. The one car that was stashed was the car that they shot with the revolver. The 2 dudes. Okay. The 2 dudes. Now, my thing is, I don't think that he was mad, because remember, old dude came up and testified, right? And he said that a whole hour had passed, and he went up to Aaron Hernandez and asked for the picture. I mean, he had asked for a picture or whatever. A whole hour had passed, and then he went up to Aaron Hernandez and told Aaron Hernandez, "Thank you."
Yeah.
And he asked him, he said, "Did he seem angry to you?" And he was like, "Nah." He was like, "You're welcome." He was like, "Actually, he sat and talked to me for a little bit." So to me, right, there's like that stuck out a lot because, like, first and foremost, you're not gonna wait an hour to go catch two bodies. That's gonna be either a fight, like you're gonna either go in there and fight real quick, you know what I'm saying, or you're gonna fight in that moment. But or if you got it on you, you're gonna shoot while you're there. But you're not gonna wait no hour to catch them down the street and then go shoot them. I think that the Alexander dude had something to do with that one completely. That was something that was outside of whatever had happened in that club that we don't know nothing about. But I think that's what that was. Now the Odin Lloyd thing, I think he definitely killed dude. I don't know if it was because Odin Lloyd seen him doing some gay activity or whatever, but I'm for sure that he had something to do with that, or one of them two dudes had something to do with that. But he was in the vicinity when it happened.
Definitely. And the one thing that also goes along with Alexander Bradley is the fact of, so he tells his story, but then you also have to understand that him and Alexander Bradley had went down to Florida to go to a strip club, a Miami strip club, right? So there was some text messages between those two about like, yo, like I know about something. It was something about I know something about something. And Aaron, the way the story goes for Alexander Bradley, shot him in the face. Obviously, he didn't die because he's testifying, but shot him in the face, like right between like his eyes or whatnot. And while Alexander Bradley was at the hospital, he did not snitch on anybody. They tried to say he kind of put it like it was a drug deal that went wrong, and you know that's how that situation went or whatever. But the way the Alexander Bradley put it was the reason that he shot me is because I know about July 16, 2012. And because this happened to Alexander Bradley February the 13th of 2013. So the way he put it was Aaron was trying to get rid of me so he can't be tied to this murder that happened in Boston. So in between that, August 27, 2012, Aaron Hernandez gets a 5-year, $40 million contract. Like, dude, so you supposedly catch bodies and then like 2 months later, you get a damn contract for $40 million.
Nigga caught a real body at the bank.
Man, listen, this stuff is wild, yo. So then, you know, June 17th, this is the whole reason why we even here. June 17th, 2013, the body of Odin Lloyd is being found. You know, Odin Lloyd this is the interesting thing about him is the fact that he was a semi-pro football player in the Boston area. And the way they met was Aaron Hernandez grew up with a girl named Cheyenne Jenkins. You know, he goes to Florida, play football, get drafted by New England. So he's close enough to the area again. He reconnects with her. They start dating. You know, she becomes his fiance. They have a baby. So Cheyenne Jenkins got a sister, and her sister happened to be dating Odin Lloyd. So because these two girls are sisters, so now Odin Lloyd is coming around because they are sisters.
And they end up getting cool.
Yeah, they end up getting cool. They end up being friends. So they're hanging out. They're going down to the man cave. They smoking or whatnot. They got some similarities by both of them playing football and all that type of shit. But look, we really don't know. But what we do know is two associates of Aaron Hernandez, Carlos Ortiz, and Ernest Wallace.
Mm-hmm.
They were with him the night of Odin Lloyd being shot.
Right.
And he met those two guys when he was over at Tanya's house because they were the drug dealers that ended up, bringing, all this, the shit that Aaron had got involved with before he went to Florida and all that type of shit. So he's known these guys.
Man.
Yeah, they were just weed mans, and then they're like, "Oh, what you in the NFL? Let me go ahead and be a hang around." You know what I mean?
For sure, that nigga got $40 million. I'd sell him weed too.
Yeah, but like, it's just, I don't know, man. Like, there's so many factors that plays into this, man. Even with the timetable, but even the murder was sloppy, man, because it was like Odin wasn't even with them. He texts Odin to go pick him up, and then they got surveillance of Aaron Hernandez at the gas station outside dancing, all this type of shit. And this is 30 minutes before he picks Odin Lloyd up.
Exactly.
So now you say exactly. All right. So let's rewind back to what you said when you was like, when he was at the club and the drink was spilled on him, that witness that came up and said, yo, it was like an hour later, he had got a picture with him, talked to him, he was calm, everything was cool.
Mm-hmm.
Well, obviously everything was cool when he was dancing outside that car.
Mm-mm. This is why I say exactly, and this is why I'm saying exactly, is because listen to what they said how it was. It was sloppy. He all on camera. He got footprints left at the spot. You know what I'm saying? There's still a shell casing in the car when he take it back to the thing. He offering the girl bubble gum. There's bubble gum in the car. Like, you could tell, like, this is somebody who's never done none of this before. Dude, especially as high profile as he is. This is somebody who is he ain't trying to figure out none of it. Like, you could tell he didn't look for nothing to clean up, no evidence or none of that. You feel what I'm saying? Like, this seemed like a dude who didn't know what he was doing.
Listen, my guy, this dude buys the cotton candy bubblicious, my guy. Sees the shell casing, wraps the bubble gum out of his mouth on the shell casing, which you put in your own DNA on the shell casing.
Exactly.
Not only that, they leave a blunt.
Does that sound like somebody who shot two people before?
But this is the thing. You got to look at that crime, though. At a stoplight in downtown Boston.
Does that sound like somebody
who ain't never done it either?
No, it does. Because you in the car. You could drive off and nobody would know the difference. They shot Tupac downtown Las Vegas. So that don't even matter.
Yeah, but that's
on
not
fight night,
though. Because that was
on fight night.
Yeah, but that was like 1995. They didn't even have lights in the cameras yet. Well, the cameras in the lights yet.
What I'm saying is, if you look at those two murders, right? If you compare those two murders without the information and everything that they was giving us in this doc, that first murder, it was done at a stoplight, and before it was anything, it was some talking going on. Supposedly, he pulled out the gun, shoots them, and drives off, right? Okay. Now, how does that guy go from a James Bond hit to then getting getting him and two weed men to go kill his girl's sister's boyfriend and leave all of this evidence behind? Shoe prints, DNA, bullet casings,
a blunt,
paraphernalia, like
a towel that the dude was seen have around his neck at the gas station.
That's my point. So it's like that first one, that don't seem like that, and that's why I think he got off on that first one, because it don't seem like Well, in the second one, in the second murder, the Odin Lloyd murder, it seems like he doesn't know what he's doing at all. And if you done caught two bodies before, right? Especially the way he allegedly caught those two bodies in the first murder, that you could tell that was timed out. That was something that was planned out. They said that it was an hour after everything had already happened. So that means that he waited an hour. They scoped them out through the whole time. When they got in the car, they got in the car. They drove off. They followed them to the light, stop, pull up beside them, say something, pow, pow, then pull off. And was smart enough to use a revolver so the bullet casings wouldn't drop. How do you go from that to then go to get a gun to where the bullet casings are dropping? You killing somebody and leaving them there, and you leaving hella evidence everywhere. You see what I'm saying?
True.
So that's why it didn't shock me when they said that he didn't do the first two. Because I'm like, the Alexander dude had to do that. He had to, because it didn't make any sense as to why all of this evidence is piled up with Odin Lloyd. And then when you look at this one, it's just like, and then it's supposed to be before all of this even happened. But he's like a goddamn secret spy in this one. And then this one, he don't give a fuck no more. He just leaving shit everywhere. Nah, man.
And then it was at an industrial park that's not, but like less than a mile from where he stays.
Come on, man.
And so, I mean, like the next day, dude, the police searched Aaron Hernandez's house.
Mm-hmm.
Then 3 days after that, they got video surfaced of Aaron Hernandez and Lloyd together the night of the murder. You know what I'm saying? Like we talked about with
cell phone pings.
Cell phone. And then he's outside the police station tearing his phone up.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Trying to destroy evidence, all that type shit. A day after that, a civil suit filed against Hernandez from Alexander Bradley for shooting him. You know what I'm saying? Back in February. So like there's a whole bunch of shit coming, you know, time after time after time. So and
then this is the crazy part about that. If he shot you, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you didn't tell. Supposedly you ain't want to snitch. Why then go and make it a civil suit?
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
So
it's just something about that first one, man. That first one, it always sounds weird to me.
Yeah. So then June 26th, Aaron Hernandez is arrested at his home for the murder of Odin Lloyd, and then the same day the Patriots released him, right?
Mm-hmm.
So one of the wildest things, and you had brought this up on the Coming Soon, was how Cheyenne Jenkins was a ride or die.
Oh yeah, so for sure.
He talked her into getting rid of the gun.
Well, we don't know if it was the gun.
Well, they ended up what they found was the trash that she was taking out. That they got surveillance of her taking trash out.
Mm-hmm.
They ran up on her. She ended up telling them where she dumped the trash. They get the trash, and that's where they found it was in a picture.
Mm-hmm.
And they opened up the picture, and there was a gun case, a shell casing with the bubble gum, you know what I'm saying, wrapped around it or whatnot. Right. So, but the fact that because this is what people also got to understand. His fiance, Cheyenne Jenkins, got charged with perjury. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So she took a charge for lying to the police.
For sure.
You know, so and when someone gets involved in some of the activities that he may or may have not been involved in, like you have to look at the lives that are affected. Like Carlos and Ernest, they both get charged with accessory to murder. Cheyenne, she gets charged with perjury. His cousin, she gets charged with conspiracy to commit accessory after the fact. You know what I'm saying? With the car being in her thing. But then also, this girl is dying from cancer, right? And she's really the hardest ride or die in this whole thing. For you to leave a car that's involved in a murder, and that when they bring you in, you basically like plead the fifth. You don't give them what they want, and then you go to jail for 2 months. She goes to jail for 2 months while she was in chemo.
She was held in contempt.
Yeah, held in contempt and went to jail for 2 months, dude. While she was fucking in chemo.
Yep.
They said she could barely even walk to the stand because she was so sick, and she still took that time on the chin because she loved her cousin. That's crazy. That is wild. So Aaron, so he gets charged. So he ended up getting charged. I mean, there's a whole bunch of other shit, but he ended up getting charged by a grand jury August the 22nd of 2013. He gets charged with the murder of that. And so this is what I want to get into because there's still a lot of stuff, but like I'm very interested to hear what you have to say about this. So the whole stuff comes out about supposedly he had a gay lover in jail, all this type of stuff. And after the trial, because like he goes to trial again for the in April of 2014 for no, wait a minute. Well, there's a lot to going on with the timeline, but let's put it this way. So he gets off on the charge for the two guys in Boston. They couldn't get enough evidence. So they was talking about how emotional he was during that trial. And it was like saying that was the last time that he saw Cheyenne and his daughter. So he ends up committing suicide by hanging himself in jail. And then all that stuff. Well, okay, let me rephrase that. So there is a radio show that comes out talking about how he has a sexual relationship with a guy that he's in jail with. 2 days later, he commits suicide.
Right.
Now, the thing about him committing suicide and leaving a letter, like they showed the letter that he left his fiance, and he underlined twice, "You're rich," right? Now, there's a law that if you are going for an appeal for a charge that you have, then during that, like if you were to die during your appeal, then you're basically not guilty because that process hasn't finished yet. And it's called abatement. It's something that the state of Massachusetts have.
Yeah.
So the way Aaron looked at it, or the way that we thought he looked at it, well, we ain't in his head, so but we believe allegedly that he knew about this abatement law, that if I die now, I can be acquitted from those charges and she can get my last contract that I got from the Patriots. So he dies and that abatement kick in and he is found not guilty of the murder of Odin Lloyd. Okay. So then Cheyenne is battling with the Patriots because they're like, we ain't giving this money up openly. And then another thing that was wild was the fact to see Robert Kraft go in there and have to testify. Dude, this whole thing is wild. But I'm getting off track. So long story short, like 2 years after that, they ended up getting rid of that whole abatement thing, and he's still guilty of killing Odin Lloyd. Yeah, but this is, I know this is a long ass lead up, but so they start talking about Junior Seau. Junior Seau had recently killed himself, shot himself in the chest so they could run the CTE brain thing. So they asked if Aaron Hernandez's brain can be looked at.
Right.
Come to find out, he had the worst case of CTE of any person, especially of the age of 27.
Cap.
So
I do not believe it.
okay, so they had somebody else's brain on that screen.
I don't know whose brain that they had, but I do not believe. I do not believe for 1 second that at 26 years old, your brain
27.
is, huh?
27.
27. I'm sorry. Your brain is 2 years off of full development because they say your brain is fully developed at 25, right, on average. So 2 years off of full development, and you have the worst case of CTE out of anybody your age ever. Come on, man. What are we talking about? What are we really talking about, bro?
Look, I don't.
Some has always, and it might be conspiracy theory scoots time. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Bring out the conspiracy theory music and bring out the weird UFO lights and all that other stuff. Yeah. Man, listen, something about this ain't right, bro. And I'm gonna tell you, and the reason I say that is this doc really showed me a lot of stuff. So like, especially with this doc in general, they was doing way too much to try to like convince us that he was bisexual.
I feel you, and it was a little far by having the one gay player that he ended up playing with. They're giving us his whole story.
You had
about him being gay.
Yeah, which I don't even understand what that had to do with Aaron Hernandez, because if he didn't know Aaron Hernandez was bisexual, then there was nothing that he could even do about this. He just talked about his time being gay in the league, which had nothing to do with Aaron Hernandez. I mean, I get that you want to have that, you know, so like you want people to have that understanding of how it is to be in the, you know what I'm saying, in the sport and be gay. I get that. But they didn't even need him to do that because they had the Daniel dude.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Who I think is all cap. Him and his daddy. Super cap. His dad knew he was gay. His dad knew he was gay. That's why his dad's so cool with it now. All of a sudden, his dad on there talking about, oh man, I did everything wrong. No, you knew your son was gay. You just didn't want to accept the fact that your son was gay, and you finally accepted it, which is a great thing. But you knew your son was gay, man. And then you're going to try to put that on Aaron Hernandez? You don't know if that boy gay or not. Maybe your son was coming on to him. Huh? Did you think about that?
Okay, how about this? What did you think of DJ when he was on with Gail saying that he remembered, well, he recalled, he put in his book of a situation of when they was playing hide and seek and nobody came to found them and Aaron was found. I forget the whole thing, but he said that he believed that Aaron was sexually assaulted or sexually abused as a child.
Okay. What did DJ do in that moment when he found out or he believed that's what happened? Did he do nothing? Because that could also be capped too. That could also be capped too. Because don't forget, DJ could be salty that he didn't make it to the league. And remember what his mama said. Remember what his mama said when she was on the phone with Aaron. All I needed was $1 million. I told you that. Not have been set. Yeah. So I don't take none of them at face value, man. I don't take none of them at face value. We have a situation where we got a dude who was born and raised in this area. He grows up, goes to college, becomes, you know what I'm saying, this great college player, wins a national championship, ends up being a first-round talent, right? In the midst of being the first-round talent, he ends up getting picked up by his home team, football team, in the league. Goes to Foxborough, Massachusetts, right? Which is only probably about what? I don't know, maybe an hour and a half away from where he was born and raised. He's still in the New England area. You heard Bill Belichick and them say it. I don't really want him going home. Keep an eye on him.
But this is the crazy part, though. So after he did when he shot Alexander Bradley, he felt that somebody was after him.
Mm-hmm.
He asked Bill Belichick to trade him.
Yeah.
And Bill Belichick is like, yo, you one of the best tight ends in the league. You ain't going nowhere.
You can just find you a better spot to go live at. Well, my thing is this. My thing is this, right?
Uh-huh.
Think about this. Now, Alexander Bradley, let them tell it, is just a weed man. Supposedly. Allegedly, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you so-called caught two bodies, and really it wasn't even, because I don't think he killed the other two dudes didn't die. They just got shot, right?
You talking about that was in the car?
Yeah, the dudes from Cape Verde. They just got shot. They didn't die.
No, they died.
They did die?
Yeah, both of them died.
So you caught two bodies there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, this is why this really ain't making no sense now. Because you pull up on these two dudes and you shoot 5 shots into this car, right?
Yep.
You kill two dudes on the James Bond hit. Then you shoot the Alexander dude in the face.
Mm-hmm.
But somehow he survives. You only shoot him one time. Right? In the face. Now, when you shot the other dudes, you shot 5 times and he said the gun clicked 2 or 3 times after that. You shoot the Alexander dude just once?
Well, okay. Now the thing about being shot is very tricky because when you think about, I mean, like, look at 50. 50 got shot 9 times.
Yeah,
but this is the thing about it, though.
This is my thing, though.
But this
you got shot in the face, bro.
He did get he shot in the face. He got a big ass hole in his face. But this is the thing.
I'm talking about the Alexander dude. Where he get shot at again?
Well, Alexander got shot in between his eyes. 50 got shot in the side of his mouth.
My nigga, you get shot in between the eyes, right?
Yeah.
Come on.
But this is the thing, though. The thing about being shot, because you can hear about people like even Tupac.
Mm-hmm.
I think at the end of the day, he was shot like 6 times before he actually died or some shit.
But he wasn't shot in the face.
True. But the point I'm trying to make is it's all about location. You can get shot a whole bunch of times, but if you don't get hit in the major artery, like, it's not going to really fucking matter if you get there in enough time to get those bullets out.
In the face.
Man, we've heard about people being shot in the face. We heard about people being shot in the head. And they still here. Listen.
Something about this just ain't right, bro. I'm just saying, it doesn't make sense to me, bro.
Uma Thurman and Kill Bill got shot in the head, my guy. They put a metal plate in the head.
She didn't get shot in the face, though.
But yeah, my thing about the whole CTE thing. First and foremost, let me get this out of the way.
Real quick though. He's a 2-time convicted felon, right?
Mm-hmm. Alexander Bradley.
Yep. And an acknowledged long-time drugs and guns dealer. And he was the one that he served 5 years for the shooting in Connecticut. But that's what I'm saying, like, hold on. Then he shot him in the eye in Miami, bro.
Yep. Allegedly.
Come on, bro. You got shot in the eye in Miami by pro football player.
Miami like that?
Because think about what we talking about, bro. This is Aaron Hernandez. He ain't like in the slums of Miami. This is Aaron Hernandez. You got shot in the eye by pro football player Aaron Hernandez in Miami.
Allegedly.
I don't. It don't. None of this is making sense to me. None of this has made sense to me, bro.
Yeah.
Like, hold on. What was the one? Because they said it was a text message or something that
Oh man, I forget about
Okay,
the text message.
so remember this. Okay, so this is what it said. He wrote to his attorney. He said, "Now you sure once I withdraw this lawsuit, I won't be held on perjury after I tell the truth about me not recalling anything about who shot me."
Yep.
You
He
feel
said
what I'm
that.
saying?
Mm-hmm.
So he just saying Aaron Hernandez shot him. Yeah, Aaron Hernandez shot me in Miami during the week they got to play the Dolphins probably, and in the eye. And then he went on to have one of the greatest games he ever had in his life. Like, shut up, man. Like, this shit just don't make sense, bro. Like, all of that shit to me was just, it was cap, bro. Like, first and foremost, you got a convicted felon on trial telling you about Aaron Hernandez. Now, was Aaron Hernandez with him? I'm sure he was, because Aaron Hernandez looked like a pothead. He probably smoked hella weed with dude all the time, which is not shocking. So to me that was like an open and shut case. The Odin Lloyd thing, man, is what really baffled me, because it's like what really happened to where, because I don't think it was the whole, oh, he seen us in the club. He seen me in the club getting freaky with another dude. So let me let me call him up one night, take him off to the sunset and take him out. That's what shit you can just pay a motherfucker off and just shut him up with. You got $40 million. You get that nigga $2,000 and he gonna shut up.
I don't know. I mean, what's the motive?
What would be the motive? I mean,
Yeah, because I'm saying that's what supposedly the motive is.
Of course,
the motive
they kept trying to make it. They kept trying to force that in there. But I mean, I don't know. It could be something that happened between her and her sister. You know what I'm saying? And he just, or it could have been all for them. He might have, you know what I'm saying? Anything could have happened. You know what I mean? Like, she might not have liked him. You know what I'm saying? His girl might not have liked him, because she seemed that, you know what I'm saying, when she found out her sister boyfriend died, she was just like unfazed.
I don't know, man. She looked pretty tough in the she took it pretty hard, man, in that courtroom, man. I don't
Of
know.
course she did, man. You got
This
to.
guy right here, man.
You got to, bro.
Hey, you trying to say she pulled a coming on that Go album Testify song?
Come on, man.
She was playing the
The
whole
queen
time.
pen.
The Queen Pen.
The queen.
Oh man,
You feel me? Like, I mean, it just, I don't know, man. So it was so weird, bro, because it's like, it was just, because I'm trying to see if they have any other information on here that they didn't put in the documentary.
Oh, okay. Well, while you looking for it, let me get this out, because I brought up something, and I don't want nobody to think that I feel a certain way about it. I don't. So, from what they say, Aaron Hernandez has CTE. There are a lot of NFL players that either have it, haven't been tested for it, because you can't. Only way you can test for it is you have to be dead. They haven't found a way to do it with people living yet. But I don't think CTE makes you a killer. So let me get that out of the way, because from the guys that have CTE, what we hear is they very depressed, mood swings, chronic pain, very bad headaches, like all types of shit like that. We don't hear about we don't hear about these dudes going out and just being very violent to the point where they want to kill people. So I do not believe that the CTE had anything to do with Aaron Hernandez allegedly killing those two guys in Boston, but being charged for killing for Odin Lloyd. So I don't think CTE actually have anything to do with it. But the CTE story, dude, because and then for them having Chris Borland in here, that fucking pissed me off. And I'm gonna tell you why. So when Chris Borland got drafted by the San Francisco 49ers, that was the year that Patrick Willis retired. And they ran a 3-4 defense. So they had Chris Borland and Navarro Bowman out there. Chris Borland rookie year, this dude looked at like one of the best linebackers in the league as a rookie, and then this motherfucker retires on me. You want to talk about somebody who was hot? Well, I was so mad, boy, because I'm looking at Chris Borland like, yo, this dude he was a gem, man. They got him late in the draft. The 49ers, like Navarro Bowman was a fourth, fifth round pick. I was like, man, the 49ers did it again, man. We got us a good linebacker. But he was like one of those first dudes to really retire from the NFL, at the early age that he did because of CTE concerns. But at the same time, he comes from a family who had their own business. He was a very smart guy. So he had other options, so I don't blame him for doing that. But I just wanted to get that out there that I do not believe that CTE made Aaron Hernandez kill people. I just wanted to get that out there so nobody was mistaken that I feel that he did that because he had CTE.
Okay, now check this, right? Supposedly this was all over a bag of weed. That's what they say.
Get the fuck out of here. You ain't killing somebody for no damn bag of weed.
Because they said 10 hours before he died, they was, talking about some weed. But before that, right, they said that he texted two friends from his hometown of Bristol, Connecticut, telling them to come to Massachusetts. And I guess he was saying you can't trust anyone anymore. So I ain't no telling what that was really about. And then June 17th, Lloyd texted his sister, "Do you see who I'm with?" And when his sister responded, she replied, "NFL." And then he responded back, "Just so you know." So that could have been anything. You know what I'm saying? Maybe they got into it and she was like, "You don't know no damn Aaron Hernandez." He was like, "I do know Aaron Hernandez." And then she got in the car like, "You see who I was with?" And he was like, "Oh yeah, I guess the NFL man." He was like, "Yeah, just so you know." So it could have been like that. We don't know. You know what I'm saying? It really ain't nothing behind that. His sister didn't really give too much about that. So back to that 10 hours before, they're talking about some weed. But allegedly, the keys to a rental car were found in Lloyd's pocket. And then they said something like prosecutors believe Lloyd said something to Hernandez that destroyed his trust, whatever. We can't go off of that. That's hearsay. Then the bubble gum that was purchased by Hernandez was found stuck to a gun shell casing at the scene. It was similar to the one that Lloyd was shot with, and the DNA matched Hernandez. So the gum was the DNA part. The casing was just like the bullet that shot Lloyd. And I guess it was found in the rental car that was under Hernandez's name. And then they found shoe tracks at the crime that made the same impression of shoes worn by Hernandez on that night. Which to me, that's you really can't go off of that either because everybody wore Jordan Retro 11s. You know what I'm saying? Everybody wear them fucking shoes.
Yo, if you ain't no goddamn lawyer, but
I'm just saying, bro. Like that's and this is why representation matters. Because if he would have had a lawyer for real, bro, he could have broke this shit down. Nigga, the 11s is the hottest shoes out. Everybody knows that. If you're a part of the culture, if you're in football and everything, we all know what the 11s are. Anybody could have had them 11s. Everybody around there played football. I'm sure there's pretty big dudes, so I'm sure he wasn't the only size 13 shoe in that motherfucker, right? Okay.
Dude, and and then if you ask me for some help, I'd be like, look, I'm a 13. 13 is a very popular size shoe.
And you know what? The crazy part is, it actually is. That's actually one of the fastest sizes that sell out of shoe stores. People don't know that. People don't know that at all. The shoes that sell out the fastest are a 8, a 7.5, 11, and a 13. So I know that when I used to work at Devereaux's. Let me see. Let me go. Okay, yeah. So the shoes was crazy. That's a crazy thing to bring up. Then they got mad because he broke his cell phone in pieces. That's suspicious of the motherfucker. But that could have been him getting into it or some shit like that. But that's still suspicious. And then he hired a team full of house cleaners, which to me, that's not suspicious. He just wanted his house cleaned up. Nothing is suspicious about that. Now, what is suspicious, though, is that his home security system got destroyed. So between the phone and the home security system, those two things is what really that's what you really got to go on. But yeah, like it was weird. But yeah, like you said, they got his fiance, his cousins got charged as accessories. The two dudes was accessory. One of them got a single count of accessory to murder. And what's the other dude? I forgot what it said. The Wallace dude got. Hold on. Oh, they both got accessory to murder after the fact. And then for Aaron Hernandez, it was carrying a firearm without a license, and then possessing a firearm without a firearm ID. And I guess possessing a large capacity firearm. And then he ended up getting life in prison without the possibility of parole. Hernandez was guilty on all accounts. Wallace was not guilty of first-degree murder. He was guilty of accessory, of course. And then Ortiz pleaded guilty. And yeah, it was wild, bro. That was wild. But it's still, to me, there's still no, like, we don't know the motive behind none of this. At all. We don't know the motive behind it at all. And that's the crazy part about it. Like I said, it's kind of hard pressed to believe that, dude seen something in the club, seen him doing something in the club, which to me is kind of weird because it's like you would have been able to see, something like that beforehand, I guess. Or to me, I feel like that's something that they would at least talked about, or he'd have brought up to him, like, man, don't tell nobody, or just anything like that. To me, that wouldn't have been a reason to kill him. Mm-hmm. Unless, like, dude was threatening them, like, hey, man, if you don't get me that tryout with the Patriots, I'm gonna go tell everybody, what happened in the club. Like, but I mean, I doubt even that would happen. It's just weird, man. It's something about this whole situation that just never seemed right to me.
Yeah, it's a very sketchy situation, man. Mm-hmm. Because the motive, I mean, they're turning it into the gay thing, and it's just like the whole prison gay lover thing. But I mean, if we want to go off of the thing of, okay, we want to discount Daniel, right? And mm-hmm. Let's say we want to discount Odom Lloyd seeing him with someone. Mm-hmm. The prison lover thing could have been like, you know what I'm saying? He just really kind of wanted something. It was like, we here.
Well, no, because even if you hear the way that he was talking to people about, people who were gay or trans in the jail.
Yeah, but a lot of times with people that go that hard, it'd be a reason why they go that hard.
But it wasn't really hard though. You know what I'm saying? Like, you could just tell like he didn't like it. Like, because I've heard people go hard on it, especially like you can tell when somebody's like up in the ante on something like that. And to me, that wasn't really like something that he tried to, you know what I mean? I don't know, because I got a friend who used to do that, and he's gay, but he used to try to do that like when we were younger, and everybody knew he was gay. Like, we didn't care, but it was just like, bro, we know. But he would just like he would force it so much that it was just like, oh, okay, my guy, like, sure, you got it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's just I don't know, man. It's just like listening to him talk. Like it just he didn't come across to me as somebody who, like, you know what I mean, did something like that. Like, nah. Because nobody else around him was like that. And then we never heard of anybody else around him being like that, except for Daniel. Supposedly Daniel was the only one. And then the random dude in the club that day.
This is true. This is true. I'm with you on the fact of I do think the motive of it is kind of sketchy.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess we'll never know because the two people that really know the story are dead. So
Yeah, and then the other
and
one was locked up.
oh, and I didn't finish. The Patriots did not give her that money.
Right.
By the way,
As they should.
so I didn't finish that when I was talking about that. So yeah, they she lost that lawsuit and she did not get that money from the Patriots. So, but overall though, I mean, you know what I'm saying? It was a good doc. It had some holes in it. It wasn't. I don't think it's one of the best docs that we have done.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But well, we'll get into that. We you know
Let's go
we
ahead and
got
get into it then, man. Firefly
yeah.
time. Yeah, we ain't did this in a minute.
Yoga fire, yoga flame.
Man, I ain't gonna lie, man. It's 3.5 for me.
Dude, that's so funny you said it. We on the same page. I was gonna say
It's
3.5.
Yeah, it seemed more like a slender piece than it did like an actual documentary with them actually doing some investigational journalism. I think that's how investigative journalism. It seemed like there was like it was more so propaganda to kind of prove like that he was, first off, that he was a murderer, right? And also to prove that he was gay or he was bisexual. Because it's like, what was the whole purpose of having Daniel in this documentary?
True.
Or even the gay football player. Like, none of that had anything to do with him, especially with everything that they showed us. None of that had anything to do with him killing Odin Lloyd.
Yeah, I'm with you. Like I get us a 3.5, but if they do it right, what I believe it will be about a 5 is when they do that 30 for 30 on that Florida team, man. Like I'm waiting on that, bro. That doc gonna be wow. Well, when they finally get done,
they had 41 out of 120 players. They had 41 people on that team arrested or in trouble with the law.
And he's one of them, but he got out of it.
Yeah,
you know,
he was the one that didn't get caught. Yeah.
Well, he had got arrested, but he didn't get charged with anything.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
The 41 it's 41 that literally got charged and went to jail.
Yeah. So that doc is gonna be wow. But yeah, man, 3.5. It wasn't one of those docs, but you know.
I mean, it's a very interesting doc only because of the situation and everything that happened and the time surrounding all of that. Like, that whole thing was crazy. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like we said, it was the fact that dude was allegedly out here in the streets with 3 bodies, and another dude that got shot in the face, allegedly, and then all of this is happening, and then he turns around and he plays a whole season of football and ends up scoring a touchdown in the Super Bowl. And then like the next season he plays like 2 or 3 games and then he's out of there.
Yeah.
So like people like, and everybody talk about OJ, like, yeah, OJ was retired, so that's not the same thing.
Yeah, it's not the
You
same.
know what I'm saying? Ray Lewis, I don't even think Ray Lewis was charged of anything.
Yeah, he was just on trial.
Yeah, he was just on trial. And then that was also something that people knew about. This is something that nobody knew about. The Patriots didn't know about it. The NFL didn't know about it. Niggas at Florida didn't know about it. Like, it was just dude was like out here in the shadows, you know what I'm saying, doing dirt, and then waking up in the morning like nothing happened and coming to 2 days.
Yep.
Yeah, that shit is crazy.
Yep. That it is, man.
Yeah, that shit is crazy, man. So yeah. Oof. I don't know, man. You guys, let us know, you know what I'm saying, what you guys think of this. Not just this doc, but just the situation, because a lot of y'all live through this too. Hit us up on the socials and tell us, you know what I'm saying, your opinions about it. This is a great conversation piece, of course, but yeah, let's talk about it, man. But let's get into this coming soon.
Yes, sir.
Coming soon. Coming soon.
All right, man. So coming up next, you know what I'm saying, we have the best movies, man, of 1999. Now, this is going to be something that I'm interested in doing because I want to propose a new format for this one, right? And we can do it here live and live in color. So I don't want to do a top 10. I want to do a top 5. Right?
Okay.
But before we get into our top 5s, I just want to have a nice little discussion about those movies, you know what I'm saying, that came out around the time, and excuse me, I'm gonna mess that up. Why this was one of the best years in cinematic history. So I think we could do it like that. What do you think? You think that be cool to take that format?
Yeah, I think so, man. We've done it in small portions already because and it all started with the Blair Witch Project. This is how this whole idea even came about, people. And this was like a year and a half ago or some shit. It all came about because we ended up doing the Blair Witch Project, and then we got the investigating the year of 1999, and we was like, yo, if the people that are old enough to remember, like, yo, everybody thought the lights, the internet, everything was gonna stop working when when 2K happened. Like, so everybody was like, yo, all these movies that we've been wanting to put them out, we're gonna put them out in 99, and it was just a lot of great films to come out in 99. So we could definitely do that. It's gonna be tough to do a 5, but I'm here for it, man. We've been talking about this episode for a while. It's finally here, and it's gonna be a fun one, man.
For sure, man. So, you guys get ready to hear that one. It's going to be super, super fun. We're going to get, you know what I'm saying, a bunch of laughing, and I guarantee you that.
Oh, yeah.
Because, you know what I'm saying, the fact that the year 1999 don't just mean good movies. It was some ones that had some flops, too. So we're going to talk about the whole year, man. We're going to get into the whole year of 1999 and try to get every movie that came out. But you guys already know, man. Hit us up on the socials, on Instagram and Twitter at VO9Pod. Also, hit us up on Facebook, VA Pod Watch Group. You can find me on Twitter at Scoots Bronson. And then you can check out my bio, man. Go to my link tree and follow me everywhere else. Outside of that, that's all I got, bro.
Cool, man. Y'all can find me at s.foster8 on Instagram and Twitter. At 28 Minutes or Less Pod on IG. Put out the last episode, man. I broke down Power Book 4, Force, part of the Power Universe, man. The season that they did on Tommy. So I put that out, man. That was episode 83. of the 28 minutes or less. You can find it on all major platforms. But appreciate everybody for listening, man.
For sure, man. For sure. So, with that being said, man, we up out of here. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for supporting. As usual, we will see you guys on the next episode. And till then, like they say in Hollywood, man, that's a wrap.
Cut.